let's have a lesson and discussion on this work. Follow us for free and just pick up all the tips from the video for free. But if you're interested, this comes from a sheet music collection that I have of works at around the grade 1 level, and there's a link for that in the description. So compared to some of the other pieces that we've been going over in the book, this one is relatively short and manageable. And it's a really good opportunity for students to work on their arpeggios and melodic passages in a nice legato fashion, but also specifically descending slurs, or in guitar lingo, pull-offs. So because it's so short, it's even a great opportunity to just add this to your daily technique routine to work on your descending slurs if that's something you're working on, because it really does focus on that, and it's short enough to just fit into a little routine. The piece we'll go over next, number 78, we'll go over ascending slurs. So I added number 77 and number 78 so that there would be individual etudes to work on either ascending slurs or descending. So this one is for descending. Maybe the first thing that you can do when you're practicing this piece is just work on those descending slurs. So you can take each one and just play it, a couple times on its own. And you remember that you get a nice clean sound by playing close to the fret, and then you can pull down a little bit with your finger, plucking the string with that finger. You can release it. You can see that it's a little bit less clear. It's very pleasant though. So that's a release. This is a little bit of a downward pluck. So depending on how much clarity you need, you can do any degree of those two things. If you just want it to sound like strong, weak, and very legato, just a simple pull off, like direct release of the finger, is very smooth and not, but it can sometimes be not super clear. So you can either do a real pluck with the finger or somewhere in between, which I generally do. Somewhere between just lifting your finger off and a little bit of pluck for clarity. And then, so you can do each one like that. Just making sure that you can play each one. And then, of course, you can start working on the piece and making sure that each measure has a little bit of a growth and decay to it. A little bit to the top note, and then so some micro phrasing within the measure. But then also some push through the measures as well. A little bit of growth. Relax. A little bit more growth to here. Then relax. The original doesn't have a repeat, but I repeat it because it's so short that repeating it at least once is nice. Add some length to the composition. We're in 6/8 time. When you're in 6/8 time, you could count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But really the feel of 6/8 time is just 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here, 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 here. That's more the feel of the time signature. So here, 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 here. And to some extent in this piece, it's just, the downbeat of each measure, but at least breaking it up in that way. Sometimes if we think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it sounds like that. It can sound very chunky and like machine gun fire on each beat. But we really want to glide through those measures. The only other thing I'll mention is that you want very clean position changes. So you're in first position most of the time. But when you get to measure 5, a shift to second position. So when you go to second position, you move your whole hand up, including your thumb. So your thumb your arm just moves the perfect hand position up 1 fret. So when we end up at measure 5, you shift up 1 fret and your thumb is still behind that second finger in general, right? And then in measure 6, your thumb is also behind the second finger, but we've just moved our hand up to the 3rd fret. And then when we go back to first position, we shift down. What you don't want to do is when you shift up to second position, for example, is to leave the thumb behind and reach out. Because suddenly that's not that comfortable, relaxed hand position anymore. So you can just take that perfect hand position and your arm just moves it around the guitar. So whatever position you're in, your arm is just moving your hand into that position. So just keeping that really clean and clear is very important. The only other thing is the right hand fingering, but it's pretty minimal in this piece. Just make sure you don't mix up the fingering at the end of the measure though. But if you just loop one measure, until it's really in your muscle memory, then you won't have to think about it at all. It'll just be in your hand and ready to go. It's a great little etude. It's quite a bit easier than the other pieces we've been working on in this grade level, but it's just such a great opportunity to play something at a really high quality level and to work on your descending slurs and your legato and just play everything really high quality and as best as you can, because it's so short and manageable that you're able to do that. So use the opportunity to bring your playing level up high.